Hey guys, it's Junior. Welcome back to Horsepower Warehouse. I just wanted to shoot a really quick video to show you guys what's been going on this week, what I've been into, and some of the newest incoming arrivals. Pretty sure I'm gonna make these two new split windows that came in on my thumbnail for this video, because gosh, why shouldn't I? Look at how impressive the color is on this split. We just don't see very many dark blue split windows. And rumor has it that we've actually sold this car previously a few years ago. That's what the boss has informed me. I knew I had seen this car before. I'm like, this looks familiar. Why did I think this looks familiar? Well, because it's a dark blue split window, but it's also 340 horse. So aluminum intake manifold. That's the beyond the 340 horse sticker, even if it didn't have that, aluminum intake manifold and that auxiliary idler pulley there and also it's got a different alternator pulley on it. That's the telltales for the 340 horse right off the bat. Even if you don't know what else to look for, those are some signs. So it's the higher horsepower variant, 4-speed. Oh my gosh, that color. The color is just astronomical. I think this is probably my favorite color, but if I were to own a car, of course, I would want a silver with red interior, split window fuelie, only because it's got family significance. I'm not gonna get into that story today, but if you guys want me to tell it, maybe I will in the future. So you guys have already seen our Pro Touring split window. This is the one that we did the carbon ceramic ZR1 brakes in a previous video. Cool car, but you've already seen it. So let's focus our attention on this one. Beautiful car. I don't know, comment down below. What do you guys think? Does this car look better in the kind of silver blue color or that dark blue? Or would you paint it a custom color that it wasn't offered in, like this? I kind of like the silver blue. I like it a lot more without a black interior. This has that dark blue interior, and I think it looks a lot more classy on the silver blue. This car was done really nicely. I'm not gonna pat my own back because I did some restoration work on this one. I've done so many cars that it's hard for me to place exactly what I've done to which car, but I have given that one a glancing blow, so. Beautiful split window. I feel truly blessed today to be able to share with you guys all. I feel like I got all these split windows sitting around. Oh, before I even go over into the shop side, now that I got your attention, let me show all you guys that clicked on this Corvette video a nice Ford that came in. It just came in like literally 2 hours ago. Ford coupe, custom. The reason I'm showing you is because they did a fantastic job with all the finish work and all the panels. You know, everything is either billet or stainless. You know, they didn't skimp on things like, you know, they didn't have to finish that out quite that nice, but they did. Paint's really all nice on this. All stainless hardware and brackets. When you go underneath the car, everything is stainless. I've never heard of Griffey seats, but I'll tell you what, this interior is like the bomb. Really, really nicely done. Was that like tweed? I guess is what it would be considered. It's super padded and just like really high quality. The seats are really soft. Of course, I had to put my lines in the carpet because it's that super plush like Rolls-Royce style carpet. So anytime I get to, or I have to vacuum a car with plush carpet like that, I put my lines in it. That's how I know I did it. I already did a previous video on this one. Let's sneak back into the shop, and I got something new I want to show you guys. And it's not the Myers Minx. That's still waiting to go to paint. The body is loose on it, so whenever my paint guy gets done with the Corvette that he's doing right now, I have a guy that does the fiberglass cars exclusively, and then another guy that does our steel-bodied cars. Obviously that's going to the fiberglass guy. And I'm not referring to this 62 Fuelie that's waiting for my tender loving care, but this. Did you guys even know that we owned a Nomad? If you guys have visited my facility, you've probably seen this under the cover in the back. We've actually had this car sitting here, it's gotta be 3 years. It's got to be every bit of 3 years. We've had this car painted. It's obviously been a complete frame off car. If this looks familiar and you're like, you know what, I think I've seen this car on TV, you are right. You probably watch either Motor Trend or Velocity TV. This was featured on, I want to say it was either All Girls Garage or Car Fix. They did an episode on this where they actually did the complete floor pans inside. So it's got all new floor pans. It's got a super high dollar paint job. This car is going to be a really, really nice restoration when I'm done. I had to pull it out of the back corner and give it some love because I feel like now is its time, you know? I'm building my race car that I've been wanting to do for years. So now it's time to do stuff that I've been wanting to do for years. And this car is second on my list to my race car. And if you guys are interested in that video, you know, search it out. I'm building a Fox body twin turbo LS race car, drag monster. But you know, that's what I do for fun. That's where I waste all my personal money, and this is all how I make the money. This car is going to be a complete nut and bolt restoration. Check out all the like miles of trim that I have to polish. I'm going to go through and categorize everything and analyze it, make sure nothing is dented. Everything's got to be perfect when I'm done, so I'm going to make sure that nothing is damaged. Everything that I can polish, we're going to repolish. Hopefully everything is in good enough condition that I can reuse it on this car, because I greatly prefer to not use reproduction trim that fits like crap. I mean, I've been there and I fought that. I will do it. I know how to make it right, but I don't want to if I don't have to, because it's so much easier to work with the factory trim. And it's like triple the thickness, and the clips fit better, and I could go on and on about a whole rant about aftermarket trim, so don't trigger me on that one. But that Nomad, let's just look at the dashboard real quick, because I'm so proud with how everything is coming out. It's gonna look really, really nice. And of course, you know, the body is straight as can be. You know it's good when you can see your reflection and it hasn't even been buffed yet. This is straight out of paint. I don't know why we were fitting the emblems and the trim. All that stuff's got to come back off because the whole car needs wet sanded and buffed. I think we were just kind of mocking things up and getting all the holes right, because after it comes back from paint, usually the paint fills up the holes a little bit, so you got to kind of work each thing. You don't want to just shove an emblem into the hole and then it'll chip the paint around it, so you kind of got to file it and work each hole. So I think that's what we were doing before I had parked that 2 or 3 years ago. What else did I do? I did nothing on the 67, but I did get the body on the frame of the Mossport big block. So the last week when I showed you guys this car, it was on that lift and the body was in the air. So actually just yesterday, I put the body on the frame and I've started working on the interior. You can see how much sound deadening I do on these cars. It's pretty extensive. But I'm a fan of my sound deadening. This is going to be a side pipe car, so I don't have to do the thermal insulation that I would normally do in the center. I do put the thermal insulation along the sides where the side pipes run, but this is just acoustic insulation, so, or sound deadening, whatever you want to call it. But I do have a thermal deadening. It's basically just foil with like a bubble wrap in between. It's a really expensive version of just that, but it works fantastic for thermal insulation. This stuff is like a tar mat. I'll show you. Here's fresh out of the box. It comes as this, and you can see how it's got this like sticky tar backing. You can get it in different thicknesses, different mills. This stuff works fantastic, no matter what mill thickness. I don't go too thick with it because then you're gonna have problems with the fitment of the carpet. And I always really hammer out all the corners. I have a really good roller and a heat gun that I use to make sure that all this stuff is stuck, because I don't want it to have like ridges or bumps in the carpet. I want my carpet to be dead smooth when I'm done. So, bang. That's probably 100 square foot of sound deadening in there. What else do we got? We have not done very much with the T-Bird. It's still waiting for its time in the limelight. The Jeep we got running. We actually mounted the wheels and tires. I don't know if you guys have saw this since the last video, but here's how it looks. So this is a 65 Jeep FJ6 mail truck. I did a video when we first got this thing. Looks good with the new tires on it. We painted the wheels, done a bunch of like brake and maintenance work to the engine. We're actually sending the carburetor out to guaranteed carb, so that's why it's sitting on this rack right now waiting for that. In the meantime, I have the interior cleaned out. We have some parts sitting in here, but I'm gonna sand all this down and probably hit it with like an industrial gray epoxy coating. Something that's really durable but looks the part, you know, looks correct for this vehicle. It was originally, you guys can tell, like a light gray. I'm gonna try to find as close as I can to that and a really durable epoxy coating, like a 2-part coating. The El Camino, you guys last saw this, it was trash. It was really hammered. What do you think? I mean, it's been wet sanded and buffed. I didn't do the wet sanding and buffing on this car. Randy at Meticulous did it for us. We work with him. He's the only guy that I will trust to do my wet sanding and buffing besides myself personally. He's been doing it for, I think, 30 years now. Don't tell him I said he did a good job, because his head is big enough, but I mean, it came out pretty nice. You know? He knows he does a good job. I don't need to tell him. I tell him he does a bad job, so that way he doesn't charge me too much. I mean, you can see that big scratch that didn't come out of the hood right there. Hurts my heart. Well, it is what it is though. That's what a wet sand and buff will get you. The windows are still dirty. I'm doing the final detail on it, and I want to drive it now. It just actually came back from alignment as well. You can see the new tires on it, but we did ball joints and tie rods and bushings galore on this thing. So everything has been completely gone over in the suspension and the steering, so it's ready for the customer. This one's ready for the customer to bring back. This guy is driving the crap out of this truck, so it's ready to go back to him so he can enjoy it some more before the new Bronco comes out. I am highly anticipating the new Bronco because I have one ordered. I got a wild track coming for my wife. 65 Corvette, waiting to get the motor in there. I still have to paint the engine bay, and I don't really love the forward and engine harness in it. I could repair it, but it'd probably take me 6 hours to redo both harnesses, you know, completely. And for what it costs to just get replacement harnesses, I would just rather get all new equipment. So I've ordered a forward light and engine harness. So basically everything forward of the firewall is getting all new harness. Everything in the rear is good. So once the harness comes in, paint the engine bay on that. Engine's going back in, and that will be for sale. 59, Ed just went on vacation. You know, he needed it. You know, we all work super hard around, I said we all, it's me and Ed. We work super hard around here, and we very rarely take vacations. So he's taking a few weeks off. I'm gonna be here by myself. So this car is probably gonna sit under the cover. I'm gonna measure and order the wheels for this vehicle. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do yet. I was gonna do the Grand Sport wheels that we have sitting here, but those are 18 by 10 and a half and 19 by 12. And the rears would actually fit, we could, but the fronts, we would just have scrubbing issues. It's just too much front wheel for this car with a factory style chassis in the front. Now the rear is all Art Morrison, so we have all the room in the world. Front is factory, so I'm gonna have to find a wheel that's appropriate for this build. Now remember, we got a super killer injection on this thing. This is getting a Weber side draft, so I gotta find a wheel that's appropriate for old school hot rod style build. I'm really excited to get that one together too and hear it. I mean, the Webers with the individuals, if you're interested, I made a previous video just on the injection when we first got it for this. So, what do you guys think? Things have moved around. We've got some pretty new stuff in. Thank you so much for joining. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you haven't already subscribed, you know, it's up to you. I would genuinely appreciate it if you did, but if you're even watching me at this point, you're just right there. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.